Ready?
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll fix it in post. We always fix it in post. Oh my gosh. Look at me do this. Oh, I'm doing it. Welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 37-9. Proper. We are still in World 37, and you're still with us. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And soon, every couple of weeks, every other week, twice a month, not weekly, we are going to listen to great video game music from all consoles and all generations. We're going to pick a topic. You're going to pick a topic. We're going to play some music, and it's going to be...
You're going to play some music.
We're going to listen to some music, and we're going to talk about the games. We're going to talk about the composers, and we're just going to have a good time.
You're going to talk about the composers.
Apparently, I'm doing all the heavy lifting this episode.
I was like, we're going to pick music. You're going to pick music.
You're going to get a car, and you're going to get a PlayStation, and you're going to get a Dreamcast.
And you're going to get bees.
You're going to get bees, is what you said?
Bees.
I love that. Is that because I have that giant beehive over there?
It is now.
It probably was in your brain.
Buzzing
around in your brain. All right, so we're doing things a little bit differently. We recorded an episode before this one, which is more of a chat. We had some people write in. We read some letters, and we talked about our lives and about gaming. But I thought this time we'll get right into the topic, Pernell, the return of video games. Now, I will...
all of them.
I will return to video games eventually. I promise, because I do enjoy them. Mm-hmm. The time...
Hi, I'm in the retirement home, and I've got this Nintendo 77.
I put Ollie down to bed. Christy would rather read a book. I sit down in front of the TV. I look at my PlayStation, and I'm like, I don't know where to begin. I'm afraid to start something. I don't know where to start. I don't... Like, last year, all I played was Hades, the first Hades. There's a second one now, isn't there?
Yes.
And I played the first Hades.
Well, in your defense, though, Hades 2 is still in early access. So.
Oh, okay. So it's not really that yet. But anyway, it's fun, but I wasn't really getting anywhere, and it was just something to kind of do. So I was kind of waiting for a racing game or something to get my attention, but never did. I have no idea what to play. Probably the Capcom collections that are coming out soon. But yeah, I will return to them. But this is game franchises that took a break and came back.
Or did they?
I think
yes,
they
did.
They came back.
Unless.
I have a question for you. Did you actually track the amount of years it took for these sequels to come out?
Yes and no. Hyperbole in some cases, and other times I'm like, okay, I think it was this year. But I do know the general vibe. That's part of the fun, the storytelling fun.
So I was trying to figure out like the longest break on some of the games that I found, and one of them was over 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I think I got at least one of those.
Yeah, like 10 years, maybe one or two of those. And I'm wondering if we had some overlap.
Nah, I can't imagine.
Probably not. Mine are pretty obvious.
I'm looking at your short list at the top there, and I can say that I looked at a couple of those, but nope, none of those are on my list.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad. I was surprised that one of them isn't, but we'll get to that one. Is there anything on your list, like any games that you just didn't end up picking any music from?
Oh, no. Every game on this list I picked music from, but I was, brainstorming.
Yeah.
What are some games that had, time off? And of your short list, I don't know what your tracks are, but I can see the top list there. Well, I used to be able to. But
it went away.
It disappeared.
Sorry, buddy.
But like it I recognized at least 3 games up there that I was like, oh yeah, that was definitely one, but then I ended up not choosing a track from it.
I gotcha.
So
you're talking to the microphone a little bit more when you do that.
But this is where I keep all my stuff. But yeah, I looked at that.
I'm afraid to move it because earlier it just fell right off the desk.
That's right. It atrophies from lack of use.
Yeah.
But that's going to change. But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting what we end up choosing. Yeah. And in one case, actually 2 cases, I was kind of cheeky about it. But, what are you going to do? Live. So
what you going to do when they come for you? When the games come for you?
Well, I'm going to select a track. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, let's get into the music. And then I think maybe it might be a fun discussion at the end of the episode is talk about games that we'd like to see return. Maybe
that could be a topic.
Yeah.
But that might be for, Well, let's see what happens.
Oh, that could be like a fun future to like people write in.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because the people waited so long. People waited for us to come back. People were like, "Where are Rob and Pernell?"
That guy's like, "Well, actually, I didn't wait. I just kind of assumed it would happen eventually and lived my life."
Our congressman, people have been writing our congressman, and they've been coming to us saying, "Rob and Pernell, the people, they need you back." And
No, they're like, the people, we need your tax dollars. Give us a check.
Rob, you've been evading taxes for too long.
Where's the tax dollars at,
like,
bro?
this show doesn't make that much money, and we can't be paying taxes on
Hey,
this.
$1, they coming for you.
Yeah, everything in this room, tax write-off. Yeah. The TV over there, tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
This
Yep.
house, tax
Tax
write-off.
write-off.
That beehive, tax write-off.
I was like, that litter box behind you, tax write-off.
Repo man coming.
Guess
I'm
what?
taking the litter box with all the litter still inside.
Guess what, Pernell?
What?
This is an odd episode.
Uh-oh.
You
It's
start.
not, I think that's kind of rude to say. I think it's a perfectly pleasant episode. It's not weird.
Perfectly pleasant, but we're starting with you.
Oh, that I can do.
Let's do it. Get us going.
This is a very obvious track for me, and like the first pick I have to come out with, and that was for the game Psychonauts 2.
Oh, yeah.
The track title is called Panic Attack, and it is composed by Peter McConnell.
You're not going to say it. I'm going to say it.
You've been listening to Panic Attack from the game Psychonauts 2, composed by Peter McConnell. I believe this game released on Xbox primarily, and I think it got a PC release too. But I don't recall if it got on PlayStation or not. Don't remember. Either way, it doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that this game had a massive, span of time between its two releases. How much so?
Yeah,
the fact that the original, I have the first
How much time?
Like, I don't know. I want to say it was during the Xbox One era.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that.
Xbox.
The original Xbox era, not Xbox One, because Microsoft sucks at naming their machines. But I bought this game originally on my PC at Walden Software, which was an old store before it became an electronics boutique in our area. And I got it on
Walden Software.
Yeah, it had I think it was like a 3 or 4 disc release.
Yeah.
To install it onto a PC.
Oh my god.
And I still have the box somewhere in my house.
Wow.
PC CD-ROM. So I would put this somewhere around like 2004, 2003. And then they ended the game on a cliffhanger, pretty much indicated there was going to be a sequel. But the game pretty much flopped, to my recollection. It didn't do well financially. So the game lay dormant for a long time. And then when VR started taking off, there was like this little pseudo sequel that was thrown together called Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin, which it was just a little side note just to hopefully drum up interest in the franchise again and to say, hey, look, VR tech. And I didn't even play it. I didn't care. I was like, I want my sequel. I want the actual follow-up game. And then in 2022...
The exact opposite of what they wanted.
Exactly.
You not to buy it, but still want it.
Still want it. I want the real sequel.
Yeah.
And then in 2022... this game came out, and it shocked the crap out of me. I was like, wait a minute, they're making a Psychonauts 2 now? And they're going to follow up from the previous game. And this game is awesome. Like, I love it a lot. I like the themes that play off into it, just like I did in the original Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Like, this track, Panic Attack, takes place when you're actually fighting a monstrous manifestation of an actual panic attack. And it's well done because
you've described this game in the past on the show, and it's always been like really interesting to me, like all of the different themes and the way it explores.
Yes,
it's very, very cool. This song is a great way to start the show because it felt really good.
Bam.
Yeah, I like that. I love this sound. It's got like it's definitely it's a Panic Attack surf song.
Well, it's because the level it takes place in is a person whose mindscape is like a hippie Woodstock-esque environment, and you're trying to get him to, like, his mind won't jumpstart again until you get the air quote band back together. So you have to go around his mind, finding aspects of his mind to represent the band to bring them together on stage to play. And he has these moments of anxiety because he became a recluse. And he has these moments of anxiety where once his brain starts to take over or have too many intrusive thoughts, he has a panic attack. And then everything shifts around, and this panic attack monster starts warping around the board. And he's technically too fast to keep up with because he's a panic attack,
right?
Heart rate racing and all that, and thoughts. So you learn how to slow time down, i.e. how to take a breath and calm down. And that's what the time stopping is meant to represent in this space.
Oh, I like that.
So you slow the panic attack down, like giving yourself time to compose yourself. It becomes slow enough to actually beat the snot of, and then you're like, okay, now we're back to where we need to be.
Have you ever experienced a panic attack, like an actual panic attack?
Heavens no, or if I have, I didn't know it. But I know a number of people, most notably a friend recently had one. I'm not going to say any names, but he has had a hard time reintegrating into social society after COVID still, doubly so because he's had like relatives, kind of like how I had it, where he had a relative who was like immunocompromised, you don't want to get them sick. So they're trying to step into the socializing again, and even though they're talking to people they know, like there shouldn't be any reason to feel anxious.
Yeah, it's hard.
They were having panic attacks.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I've only had experience one a couple of times. It is like you think that if you've never had one before, because you don't know why your brain is doing it, like it's ridiculous. Like you think that something else physically is wrong with you, which makes you panic even more. The one I can really remember, it's too like on the nose, but I was on a roller coaster with my nephew Nathan, and I knew I didn't like roller coasters anyway, but like I literally thought, can I jump out of this thing? And get them to stop the machine before it starts, because we were going up. And
you were already on the machine.
Yeah, I was on the machine, and we were going up, and I was like, how can I get them to stop this? And it was like these thoughts kept racing through my head, and my heart felt like it was going to stop. And then, of course, it gets even worse because then the actual ride goes. It was the last time I rode a roller coaster. That was a long time ago.
Maybe the closest I've had to a panic attack then. But that's why I question. Maybe it's just the way your brain processes it, which no one can really control.
No, exactly. Yeah.
But like years ago, I went to, I think it may have been with you guys, but it was with somebody I know. There was a rafting trip in a river, and I was on the bus to go on this rafting trip because I wanted to go, and I didn't want to be a chicken who didn't go, but I was also afraid of drowning because I can't swim. So we're on the bus, and at one point, I'm sitting next to this kid, and the kid looks over like, "Are you okay, mister? You don't look so good." And I'm sitting in the seat rocking back and forth like, "Oh, it'll be okay. It'll be fine. You're not going to drown.
Yeah.
You're probably taller than the river." But I was basically trying to psych myself up into saying, I can do this. It's not going to be so bad. And I was anxious. In the end, I got in, and I was okay. But I was terrified of potentially drowning in the river.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the closest I could think of to a panic attack, except for that time when I actually almost drowned.
Yeah, that's something else entirely. I think it's like I could face my fears and try to overcome my fear of roller coasters, but then in the end, I'm like, it's not that important to me to ride a roller coaster. Now,
well, I'll tell you this:
with a son, he may want to, and I don't want him to have the same fears that I have, so maybe I'll try to. I don't know.
Well, one thing about roller coasters, obviously everyone's different, so no saying anything in that regard. But the first time I rode a roller coaster was in the 6th grade. So we took a trip to Hershey Park.
1953, 55?
No, 1946, Rob.
Oh, of course.
Wooden coaster. They call it the Rickety Stick-It. So we got on the roller coaster because I didn't want to be the chicken in front of all of my classmates who was like, "Oh, come on, it's a roller coaster." Yeah. So we're going up the roller coaster. I'm terrified of this thing, just like you described.
Yeah.
It's going up. It was the Sidewinder at Hershey Park. And as it starts to go...
That was wooden, wasn't it? Or no, that was a different one.
No, it wasn't wooden. It's at the time it was a fairly decent scale coaster for the time.
Yeah.
Because
we're talking 90s.
I want to say the side. I'm trying to remember if the Sidewinder was the one that went backwards. But either way, the point is, I remember.
Sounds like it should go sideways.
And this is the brain of a person who was a child, who is remembering something from ages ago. But I swear I remember it this way because I remember it then. I was sitting next to I remember being a nun.
Okay.
And I got on the roller coaster. We're going up, and I'm scared. And as the thing starts going, I just start cursing, swearing, just throwing every curse word I can think of. Like foul mouth from Tiny Toons.
I love it.
And I got off the ride, and people's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, "Oh God!" And I was like shaky the rest of the trip, and I didn't want to get back on a coaster. And then it wasn't for another couple of years that I would try to get on one again. And what I realized is the point of a coaster, and this has persisted to this day.
Yeah.
They're supposed to feel scary.
They're supposed to, right?
Because it's a thrill.
It's a thrill. It's like it's a thrill where like you're going to be safe, but like physically it's a thrill.
It's a thrill. Like your body feels like it's in danger.
Yeah.
But you're actually safe. It's like skydiving. Like as long as the equipment is working, you're in danger except for the equipment that's going to save you. So you're like, oh my God. And you're like, whoa, what a rush.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. And I don't know what it is, but embodying that mindset made them engaging. I get every roller coaster I get on. When it goes, I'm like, oh God, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. It's going to happen. And then it happens like, whoa, God, that was great. Like my favorite, and then I'll stop ranting.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Was the Top Thrill Dragster at not Kings Dominion, Cedar Point up in Sandusky, Ohio. I don't even think the thing exists anymore. They had to shut it down out of for risky crap. But it was a roller coaster.
All the things we loved in the '90s had to get shut down.
Oh, this was like close enough. It was like early 2000s, like maybe 2002 or something, 3. But like it was a roller coaster that started up, and it had like a 3, 2, 1 go race light. And then when it started, it rocketed from 0 to like 90.
Oh, man.
Some
crazy speed, number. Yeah.
Shot straight and then went almost 90 degrees straight up into a corkscrew going straight up, 500 feet in the air. And then it would take a completely sharp dip and go right back down. Corkscrew straight back down. And then it would slam to a halt once it got to the ground. Wow. So it was basically the whole point of the ride was just to give you a rush of down. You're done.
Oh, wow.
And it was wild.
That sounds like an itchy and scratchy ride.
Oh, it probably was. There's a picture of me on that thing.
The Teeth Destroyer or something like that. Yeah.
It doesn't even look like my face. It looks like that Popeye. When Homer's face warped in like Popeye.
Oh my God! All right, I'm gonna change things I'm putting things into a different into a different gear here, as I like to do. Try to match. I can't match this energy, but Streets of Rage for the Sega Genesis. The first one came out in 1991. For the third one, when did the third one come out? I'm gonna quick Google this guy here. When do you think it came out? I have so much trouble
remembering any music from Streets of Rage 1 that isn't do 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 do.
1994. So the last Streets of Rage game was 1994 until 2020. Streets of Rage 4.
And I remember when that game came out, I was like, we got Fighting Rage. We don't need this. Deep stop, though. I actually, Streets of Rage 4 is an awesome game.
I think it brought beat 'em ups back into like discussion. So let's listen to some music from Streets of Rage 4, which had many different composers on it. Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro all included, but a bunch of others. This one is from XL Middleton. This is the music for the Commissioner. I think his music plays when the Commissioner is talking, like in the story mode.
Oh, well, we'll find out. I have a guess, but let's see.
All right. I love that. I love that sound so much. That is from Streets of Rage 4. The track is The Commissioner from XL Middleton. Matthew Hudgens from Pasadena, California. He's a G-Funk producer and DJ, founder of Mo Funk Records. So this is his wheelhouse right here. This is what he does.
So hearing the track officially, I'm pretty confident now this track plays at the boss fight when you're fighting the police commish.
Oh, okay.
And because you get arrested after like one of the early stages in the game, and you get to break out of prison, and you're
Love
fighting
it.
through the police station.
I still haven't. Maybe this is what I should start playing because a lot of
It's a
people
quick
have recommended
play.
it to me. It's a good beat 'em up.
You can do it in one sitting.
Yeah, one sitting.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever played it through.
I'm not that good.
Man, you're out of whatever. You'd be fine.
But
it's a one sitting game.
Yeah, the combo system's supposed to be a lot of fun, right?
I honestly felt like it just felt like a traditional Streets of Rage combat combo system.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I don't remember doing anything that was elaborate, but that doesn't mean it wasn't fun. I enjoyed it very much, and they added there was
a lot of
a
stuff,
specific
yeah.
type of move they added. There's like star moves, which not to be confused with the star moves from Streets of Rage 3, but I had fun with it. That's the important part. I still found myself going, I want more fighting rage. But
Yeah.
I was willing to let that nonsense go and
that's
say,
what
I
it is.
like this too.
Like this came out and everyone started talking about the beat 'em up genre as a video game genre again, and some other like Ninja Turtles kind of came back around, and there was a re-release of the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up, and
now we got the G.I. Joe game coming and the Toxic
really
Crusaders
I didn't know
game.
about that one. I heard about
Wrath of
Toxic
Cobra.
Crusaders, but I didn't hear about G.I. Joe.
Yep.
But it's true. But like there have been other beat 'em ups that have come out in the past that were trying to heighten what the genre was doing, and Fight and Rage is a perfect example of that, musically and visually and technically too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for people to be like, oh well, obviously Streets of Rage is doing good. You're like, well, but have you played Fight and Rage?
Yep.
Fight and Rage is a great game.
Yeah,
and I'm only saying this because I've played it vicariously through you.
It's so good though. Like it made me back. So I was like, this game is sitting right here.
Yeah.
And it took Streets of Rage to make you care about this genre again. What are you sleeping on?
Well, it's tough. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who, like me, don't play a lot of games, and so they find something from a franchise they remember.
But I'm talking about people who do.
Still. Even people who do play a lot of games, like maybe beat 'em ups just weren't something they were thinking about until this came back around.
They couldn't because I
And
was
it
like,
looked
hey
cool.
guys, play Fight and Rage. Oh, whatever, Pernell. You and your antics.
I can't. I'm playing Call of Duty.
Call the duty.
Get out of here, play your Madden. I'll be over here playing good games. Games of integrity.
Games where choices matter.
You put your top hat on and grab your monocle. Fight and Rage time.
That's right. Trying to drop a monocle.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, this
Shock and awe.
the synthesizer bass line on this is everything I want right now.
It's a good track.
So good.
I just think it's funny because I couldn't remember off the top of my head what the track was, because when you're fighting him, it's just so much junk getting
So much stuff.
crunched. And you're getting this. He's a hard boss. He's
Yeah.
beating the stuffing out of me in that game.
I think that one of the reasons what drew me to getting involved or getting more into listening to video game music on its own is that, like, you know, you and I grew up in the arcade era and the Nintendo and Genesis era, where like you can kind of hear the music sometimes if you pause it at home, but if you listen to some of these games in the arcade, you never could hear anything. There's so many sound effects and things going on, but there was actually a lot of work and a lot of thought that went into the compositions of these things. And still, the games are so noisy that sometimes the music gets lost. So much so that if one of the first things I do when I play a new video game is look for a sound mixer setting, and I turn the sound effects usually pretty far down,
So you can hear the music more fully.
Exactly, yeah. Because I'm like, I'd rather be hearing, like, especially if it's like a game with a lot of gunshots and stuff, I would rather have that be mixed really, really low so I can hear more of the music. It's like sometimes I'll listen to music where there's singing and I think like the vocals are too loud, and I'd rather be hearing like what's going on in that guitar section over there.
But the vocals, Rob.
I'm sure the lyrics are fine. They're talking about pain and beauty and misery
and rocks.
and romance and rocking and rolling.
No, and rocks.
They're rocking it like,
Actual minerals.
the geodes. Behold.
Oh, the geodes.
Hey, it's our first Simpsons reference. Aw. All right, what's your next track?
So this track, well, I don't think it has a name yet. So we're going to just go with a track from a game. But thankfully, people have been ripping. and I found a rip track for this game. It recently came out. It's called Visions of Mana. And it's just a track that plays in an area of the game that I like called Airy Passage. So whatever.
So whatever.
It's composed by Ryo Yamazaki.
And she dances in the sand. Got it. Done.
Her name is Rio, and she dances. Welcome back. You're listening to a track from Visions of Mana, released, last week, actually, as of the time of this recording, on the PS5 and PC. And I don't think Xbox got this, which is unfortunate. But
is this? Yeah, I know. I have a horse in this race. So, Secret of Mana sequel?
Well, not so much secret, but it's the same line of game. So, the order of operations, though I don't know the exact dates on all but one of them, it was pretty much Final Fantasy Adventure, which was on the Game Boy.
Right.
Way back in the day when they were afraid of naming it the actual Seiken Densetsu or whatever.
Oh, right. There was 4 of them, right? On the Game Boy. I played...
No. They were different, too.
I played the first 2 of those.
The Final Fantasy Legend games.
Oh, those are Legends. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Legends. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like sort of spin-offy of the Seiken Saga games.
Saga games. Okay.
They were the Saga games.
I got them mixed up. I'm sorry. So
it's
Final
okay.
Fantasy...
They wanted you to. That's why they named them all Final Fantasy blank. Freaking jerks. Anyway, so it was the Saga games, those. But Final Fantasy Adventure was actually Seiken Densetsu. Seiken Densetsu 2 was Secret of Mana.
Yeah, and then there was a Seiken Densetsu 3 for the Super Nintendo.
Yes, and that was Trials of Mana, which we didn't get here until sometime 2017 or 18, something like that, as a remake called Trials of Mana. But we never got the original release. Then the 4th game was actually Dawn of Mana on the PS2, and that one came out in 2007.
Okay.
There were a bunch of little weird games. I thought they were part of the series, but they're considered spin-offs, apparently, like Children of Mana and Heroes of Mana.
Right. The Dogs of Mana.
The Dogs of Mana.
Right.
It's cute metal music. Going,
right. The bells of Mana.
Dogs of Mana.
Right.
But then we get Visions of Mana, which is technically Seiken Densetsu 5.
Okay.
And that came out in 2024.
Wow, that's a pretty big...
So from 2007 to 2024.
Yeah.
And I've been playing this a little bit already. Rare for me, I know. Everyone leave me alone. And I think it's good. It's been fun. It carries a lot of the vibe I got from those old games, including the monster designs.
Has it got like that action RPG kind of
very action
thing going on? Yeah.
There's class changes, and
that's fun.
They have the ring menu back, even though it's not right up on the character, but you push a button and the ring just pops up and it stops the action. You can go back and forth between the characters' rings.
I did like that in Secret of Mana a lot. I used to play that. I never owned that, and I only played it on emulator by myself for a while, but I used to play it 3-player with friends in like junior high a whole lot.
I think one thing I like about this one, though, compared to Secret, because Secret was a great game.
Yeah.
But I used to hate how you couldn't dodge spells. Yeah. If a monster used a spell, you were just getting hit.
You were getting hit. Yeah, you're just like, I guess I hope I was healed at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did a good compromise with this game, though, where boss fights, the bosses, I mean, this may change later, but the bosses will do a magic attack, and they light the screen up. Like, it's hard to dodge, but you can dodge them. You see the indicators, like, the flares are going to hit all these spots on the map. And then you're running around like, okay, just dodge them all. And if I can get out of the way, I'm good. Can't speak for my AI-controlled characters, but I'll be good. And I'll just spam cups of wishes just like I did in Secret of Mana and all the healing items. But at least I, controlling the character that I'm choosing to, can dodge the attacks. And I appreciate them doing that. And it's just fun.
That's good.
And the music, as you can hear,
this is really nice. Yeah, it does kind of go into like a second movement, but this is from the section that you remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. This is really, really nice. So I'm going to play some music from a game that I don't know much about, but I like the hell out of it.
So how do you like it? You mean the track you like?
No, the track's okay. The track is good, actually, but I'll just get on with it.
Get on with the show.
Armored Core.
Okay.
Armored Core 1, I liked a lot. Armored Core 2, I played a ton of, and then I stopped playing for a while.
Okay.
Because I didn't have like the systems, and I just never got around to it. But we listened to a lot of the music on the show from Koto Hoshino, which I love that music. And every time I see gameplay and I see like images from the game, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Giant robots, mechanized warfare, that kind of thing. Like
madness.
Super cool. So Armored Core 4 came out in 2012. Armored Core, that was Armored Core 5 came out in 2012. Armored Core 6 came out last year, 2023. That's a long wait, and it's From Software, right? That's
I actually bought it to support the game and the fact that every game they make doesn't have to be Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But have I played it? Don't answer that.
So music. This is Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. Music is called "Contact with You." This is music from, I don't know the exact composer, but I know Koto Hoshino, again, did most of the compositions on the game, along with Takashi Onodera and Shoi Miyazawa. That was music by Koto Hoshino from the game Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. That was Contact With You. It's not my usual thing that I would play on this show. Like the last track I played was something I would normally play on this show. Like, the G-Funk synthesizer, funky bass line.
This is not the Rob Nichols.
No, not usually. I mean, it is. I mean, it seems so experimental and but just so cinematic. Something about this when I was listening through the soundtrack, and I didn't get to listen. There's a lot of music. I didn't get to listen to all of it, but when I came across this one, it was like this. It really grabbed me. Something about the way it kind of pushes and pulls, and that synthesizer sound in the background was just sort of kind of flitting back and forth like a panic attack. It was cool. Callback.
There it is. And I was I know you're probably like, what the heck are you looking at?
You got talking to the microphone, please.
What?
We gotta get back on. I gotta get an arm like this one for you because it's I can just move it.
Just have to attach to my face and then it just goes where I go.
Yeah.
But so I was trying to figure out where I heard this name on this show because it sounded really familiar. And I think it was from Metal Wolf Chaos this person composed for. And I've brought a track on here from that game in the past.
Which one?
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Now, which name did you hear before?
Kota Hoshino.
Oh, Kota Hoshino, yeah. Because didn't Kota Hoshino do music for the other Armored Core games, or was that somebody else?
Yeah, but I've never picked tracks from Armored Core.
Oh, I thought we did. Twisted on the Surface?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I hadn't.
Oh, you hadn't? Okay.
I had never picked it, so it didn't stick with me. When you have a track that resonates with it and it stays with you, you're like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah,
Listen to his stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, where'd I hear his name?
Because I remember being like, wow, there's a lot more rock, kind of adjacent style music in the Armored Core games than I realized. And it was Kota Hoshino. It was him. And so then I was going through this soundtrack. I'm like, oh, wow, this is way more out there, but in the midst of these giant robot firefights, it's probably really intense.
I'm honestly, if I'm in a robot firefight, I want music like this playing as opposed to some dramatic beat. I'm like, no, give me energy. I want to zip around and blow things up.
But again, with this one, everyone was talking about Fight and Rage. Why Fight and Rage and why not Streets of Rage? I'm kidding. It's From Software, and people know Dark Souls. From Software, Dark Souls. But they did these amazing Armored Core games, and it's really cool to see them kind of bring it back and be like, hey, I know fans were into it, and we spent the time.
And maybe why it took so long too, because you said the last one was in 2012.
I think that's what I said. I know what I said. 2012.
So that was around the time that Dark Souls was starting to take off.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1 came out in 2011.
Okay, that makes sense then. So then they probably just took a break from it.
Money's here. Money is here.
Money is, but I mean, now I'm sure they enjoyed making those games too. So
that's why this one is back. It's I always said to people, I'd have no problem if they were like, these are the games that pay for our passion projects. So they make, not to say they don't like making the Souls games, but you make the games that will sell the money or make the money, and then you invest in your passion projects to make it so that you don't burn out on making the same game over and over again. And Armored Core 6, I believe, was likely a passion project.
It's I mean, I'm not going to play it probably. We'll see.
One day I'll boot the darn thing up.
What's going to happen is I'm going to retire, right? I'm going to be in a retirement home.
And then you'll have carpal tunnel.
Or like a senior living community, and I'm going to have every old console that I can get a hold of and be like, finally, all the time in the world to play my video games, and then I'm going to lose my glasses. Like, no, my glasses!
The sad part, the unfortunate real part, which I'm hoping never happens, all the time to game, and then you get carpal tunnel, severe carpal tunnel.
Well, I'm hoping,
I can't grip the controller.
Okay, now I know where we are now with the technology, but in the future, I'm hoping that that kind of augmented reality glasses, where it looks like there's multiple screens in front of you, and maybe a controller in your hand. Maybe that will become the new emulation.
But there's the final point. It has to be the emulation, because the sad part is who's to say all of our old games are going to get bumped up to virtual helmet.
So we're seeing a bunch of classic Marvel Capcom titles, classic Nintendo titles, classic arcade games getting re-released onto modern hardware, hopefully onto new 64-bit architecture that can then be ported to whatever's in the future, whatever that's going to look like. So So maybe we'll see it. Maybe
we can play it in your flying car.
I cannot wait to put my Nissan Bolt into autopilot.
No, it's Usain Bolt.
No, so I'm gonna do a conversion on my Toyota Corolla to make it electric and just make it autopilot because I refuse to buy Tesla.
No, funny thing is, I'm sure once that tech is finalized, everyone's going to have it.
I know, which exactly once it's out there and it's decent enough, all the makers are going to have it, and I can buy whatever the new Toyota Corolla is going to be because I think I've decided that's my favorite car. It's my favorite car that I've driven so far. So,
and my favorite car will just be whatever car I get next. That is not an old car.
It's just the car that I can afford.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I'm driving my still 2013 Impala without any safety features and no backup cam.
You got bear bags. Come on.
I bear bags. That's exactly what I've got.
Just the bear bags.
It probably hit the thing and like a bag of nails shoots out. Like, it's just meant to hold extra parts for the car. We just happen to put it in the steering wheel because it's more efficient for space.
Yeah, it's like a manufacturer's like defect, and they have to return everything back. And the guy who designed it was like, "That's not supposed to be there." I thought it
was extra storage.
I had all this extra parts. I didn't know what to do with them.
You just put them in there. I mean, somebody has to replace your tire, and you lose a screw. Just grab it out of the bear bag.
All right. I think we have 2 more tracks to play. So, of our normal set. So, what do you have?
So my next track is actually from the original game because the game that's returning actually isn't even out yet. They only announced it very, very recently.
Oh, so this is pretty new.
Yeah, the game isn't even out. They just announced it, and I was shocked to hear it. This comes from the game Phantom Brave, and the track title is called My Little Garden, and that is composed by Tenpei Sato.
Oh, of course. If we're coming back, you bring in the Tenpei Sato.
I have to bring Tenpei Sato back. Oh, welcome. Hey, what are you doing here?
We're back. We're in it. Sorry about that.
I was tapping and stepping.
That is fun. I've realized what that sound is. That da 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 da.
What is it?
It probably isn't. It probably isn't. But it sounds like Enya.
Hey.
You know,
sail away.
Not
Yada 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 yada
like
yada.
Just that first part.
Yada 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 yada. Anyway, that track is called My Little Garden from the game Phantom Brave, composed by Tempe Sato. Yada, 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 yada. I'll stop doing it 'cause I'm sure people are in their cars going, why my ears are bleeding.
Yeah, why are you doing this?
So this game actually was the first non-Disgaea follow-up that Nippon Ichi Software released in the States for PS2. In fact, it came out, if I'm not mistaken, it may have come out before Disgaea 2 did. So, Disgaea, then Phantom Brave. And this came out in 2004 in America. It's a cool game.
About 20 years, they're finally talking about
a sequel.
A sequel.
The sequel will come out 21 years after the original game. The premise of it I always thought was pretty awesome. It was about a little girl who could have been named Morona, who could see dead people. Yeah, Sixth Sense. And she communed with them. She could commune with them. But as a result, people became afraid of her, and they didn't want her around. So she was always alone, didn't have any friends, except for one, a specific spirit that always stuck around her named Ash. And, of course, throughout the game, you learn who Ash is and why he became attached to Morona. But gameplay-wise, she could call spirits down and summon them by imbuing them into objects. And then while they're in the object, they are able to fight for a certain number of turns before they would dissipate off the map.
What kind of objects are we talking
Anything.
here? Anything.
A shrub.
I was saying like an old boot.
A boot.
Yeah.
I'm actually positive there probably was like an old shoe that you can find.
That sounds very video gamey.
But it was really cool because every object, depending on the object you put the person into, that determined what their stats were going to be when you summon them. So if the type of character resonated well with the type of object, you get a really cool character being summoned into a tree. But then that person, while running around, can then pick up a shrub, and they get attacks specifically associated with the shrub. It's like Leaf Storm or a tree. You just like start beating them with a log. Just crazy stuff.
So it could be anything in the game, but then like they clearly designed like special things to be done around those. That's clever and a lot of.
It's really deep,
very creative. Like that's cool.
But I guess people didn't take to it because they thought it was too complex. Because it was also their first attempt at saying, what if we took a battle engine, tactical, strategy RPG,
which is similar to Disgaea.
Yes. But if they were like, what if we took them off the grid and just gave you a range of motion? So it was like a circular grid that you could just run into. And that's your range of movement. You can run anywhere in that circle. Instead of going square, 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 it was, I'm running out to this point in the circle and doing damage.
So instead of like a grid of like 16 squares, you had like a circle that's like a 400 by 400 pixels, essentially.
Yes.
You can just run around.
And that's the space your character gets. So it's like if your range of motion is 20 pixels out of the 400 pixel grid, you can move by increments of 20 pixels max per turn.
Oh, wow.
And it got to be pretty ridiculous. Like you're like stacking people and throwing a guy to a shrub, picking up the shrub, and since you built him up to be really good at using shrubs for attacks, you're just like using like freaking like tornadoes of leaves to kill your enemies. It was a lot of fun.
On these shrubs, man.
Well, that was my favorite weapon. I used to fight with bushes.
I was just gardening today. No. So that was your thing. Like you fought with bushes.
Yes, it was like one of my favorite attack weapons in the game was because they had some cool attacks.
I love that.
But you could fight with just so many interesting things. And after that, there was nothing for a while. And then the PSP came out. Remember the PSP, kids?
You love the PSP.
Not so much. It was the Vita I loved.
Vita.
The PSP, I thought their storage medium was stupid from the start. Both to save games and to hold the games themselves. They were just wasn't smart on their part.
What was it called? UMD. UMD.
They were just dumb. Like an encased CD, basically. Mini CD.
Yeah, it was a mini disc, but it was like their mini disc.
Yep. Just to be proprietary and stupid.
Yeah. Well.
Basically, if you accidentally bumped the PSP while playing the game, you're pretty much going to scratch up the disc. It was annoying.
Ooh.
But they re-released Phantom Brave. It added a bonus final chapter that sort of gave you a little bit more story, but it was still just a re-release, right?
So this is something you played the heck out of then.
I never finished it, but I put over 100 hours into it because I just like leveling up characters.
Sounds like that kind of game.
Yeah, I just like leveling up new characters and be like, what object would they best be suited to enter into?
Speaking of putting in a crazy amount of hours, My next game is Street Fighter 4.
Oh, that's you.
That was my life for a long time.
I wasn't sure if you were going to choose 4 or 5, but 4 is the de facto
I could have.
return.
So this is it. Sorry. So Third Strike. So Street Fighter 3 came out in 3 parts. The New Challengers, Second Impact, Third Strike, which is like the best. I love it. I think it came out in 99. And then after that, EX3 came out in 2000. And then nothing.
Now, was EX the 3D version?
And those are the 3D ones, so I feel like they don't count.
Hey, yeah, Skullomania.
That was all right. So, yeah, Skullomania was in that. And they brought some rival school characters into it. But then nothing for a long time. Until 2008, Street Fighter 4 came out. And then Street Fighter 4 and its many iterations and upgrades carried on through 2017. Which is
resurrected the genre. Wait, what?
Yeah.
2008 to 17 on just Street Fighter 4?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not
it
realize
was like
that.
Ultimate or Arcade. I forget the lower the last one. That was 2017.
Indestructible.
They should have brought that song back because I remember hearing it again and be like, this was a jam. Why did anyone make fun of this? This rules. Anyway, we're going to listen to the classic Theme of Zangief from Street Fighter 4.
Yeah. Wow! What's that?
Joanne the bump.
Ow! What's that?
And Zangief. Joanne the bump.
All night long, Zangief.
You know, if like Zangief was actually playing that slap bass, he'd like just twist it in half.
He would just break it. He doesn't have delicate hands. He's a Russian. Gruff hands. You don't call your grade a week.
I just recorded that whole thing. It doesn't matter. We're listening to Theme of Zangief from Street Fighter 4. This came out on the Xbox 360.
That's why I get for looking down at my phone at the time.
2008. I was 28 years old.
And that was
nuts.
Like 35.
I had a 360 before this came out. I bought the PS4 for Street Fighter 5.
That's what you did. I remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if you already had an arcade controller, but you bought an adapter.
Wait, that can't be right. 2017. That can't be right. I think I'm wrong. I think 2017 is when Street Fighter 5 came out.
Yeah, you didn't buy it in 2017 because you had Street Fighter 4, and that was on 360.
Yeah, that was on 360. I'm saying Street Fighter 4 didn't run until 2017. I think that was Street Fighter 2017 is when 5 came out because that's when I moved, and that's when I last moved. That's when I bought it.
See, that makes more sense now because I remember it came out on 360, and I know that because after this, as this is around time, I was like, I started playing a bit different fighting games now. They're like, Guilty Gear and Arcana Heart. So when Street Fighter 4 got out, I was like, maybe this will be the time. This will be my time to enter the actual fighting game community and become a contributor, a participant.
I tell you this, Ultra Street Fighter 4 was 2014. Still, holy moly. And I was wrong. It was 2008 Street Fighter 4. Until 2014, Ultra Street Fighter 4, the final version, finally comes out. And then Street Fighter 5 was 2016. So, and
they probably got DLC to the Ultra Street Fighter 4 too.
There was one final. I think that was the last one because back then the DLC. Oh, no, there was.
No, there was DLC.
I downloaded them. Yeah, Street Fighter 5. I never downloaded all the characters. I was like, I couldn't spend all this money every single time. I just drive me nuts.
But if you don't do it, you can't keep up with the meta. Meta rub.
And I didn't. Never got good with Guile. Never figured him out because never downloaded him.
Which, by the way, I thought that was a pretty sinister practice. Smart, but sinister. It's like, hey, let's bring these fighting games out. But we keep releasing new fighters. You have to buy them because if you don't, you'll fall behind everyone else.
I got a lot to say about this, but
The meta rub.
But it's Street Fighter. It's Street, and I'm you know what it is. I'm looking forward to playing Third Strike again. I don't know why.
So you're going to buy the collection? Oh, so it's not going to be on the. Is there a Fighting Collection 2 coming out too? That's not just the Marvel one.
I think Third Strike
already come out.
Third Strike they get it not its own, but it came out earlier, right?
It was probably in a fighting game collection.
Third Strike on PS4, ladies and gentlemen.
The things we do.
Third Strike Online Edition. Yeah, it's out there. It's out there.
Because you were saying I'm looking forward to playing it again. So I was like, wait a minute, is there a release coming soon or something?
It's out there. It's out there. We'll be playing it. I've been playing the Alpha series on the Capcom Arcade Collection 2, which doesn't have any online play or anything, but it's just fun to revisit those games.
Yeah, you don't need online just to get a bit of nostalgia pops in.
Yeah, I was never really competitive with the Alpha game. It's not so competitive. I didn't get into it until Third Strike. So.
Whereas I loved Alpha 3. Go for it, man.
Alpha 3 is fantastic. It's super fun.
Finishing strike.
Love that game. All right, so I'm going to turn this track down. We're going to have an old-fashioned bonus round.
Bonus round? Bonus round? Bonus round.
That's a
bonus round. I know bonus round. Well, I'll be dadgum. A bonus round, like the old days.
The bonus round is where we play covers and remixes and just anything else based on our theme. I have a very unusual one, so why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Mine isn't unusual. I just went light. Didn't even choose a remix. I just picked a track with vocals in it.
Great.
Because it was another game that I was like, this will never get a sequel. And then it did. And it was one of my favorite games last year, despite not even finishing it yet. I'm going to this year, though, by gum or hook or crook. Anyway, this is from the game.
I've never heard that before.
By hook? You never heard someone say by hook or by crook?
I've never heard that one. That's a new one. That's a new one. Yeah.
It's out there, man. I find all the idioms.
I'm learning something new on the show.
So this track
is educational.
Mario teaches idioms.
Mario teaches podcasting with Pernell.
There you go.
All right.
My name is Mario. I like to rap. And this track is very hip. I did not rhyme at a bit. Alan Wake 2 is the game I'm in. And this track is also called The Road, The Dark Chamber by Poe. Enjoy.
And some say that it moves forever, this road that I lose you on every time. And some say that it moves forever, this road. And some say that it moves forever, this road that I lose you on every time. And some say that it moves forever, this road. It's not meant for me. They're meant only for you, I see. Wake up, it's only a dream on a winding road. Now they're in my bed, in the dark chamber of my head. I flip you over until you bend this winding road. Don't you ever let me go. Forever play and pretend. Forever, never wanting it to end. This message that you send to this winding road, it's just the beginning, only the ending. Winding through me now.
This is really good.
Right?
I'm into this. This reminds me of like Portishead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Poe, Anne Decatur Danielewski, she's from New York and did like rock, trip hop, electronic. Started in 1995. Wow.
Now, I want to say she has been a part of like a number of Remedy's games, if not at least just Alan Wake. But their name I've heard of them before this game. So it was probably Alan Wake 1. But what I do know is that this track sounds very good.
I love it.
I also know I need to finish Alan Wake 2. It's going to happen eventually, though.
Do you think coming back to the podcast and talking about some of these games and being like, I should go back and finish that, do you think you'll actually like, maybe it'll motivate you or you'll...
Fingers crossed, we'll see. Because there's also that, but there's also me trying to get off my tuffet and get over the previous episode mentioned rejection fears and socialize, which means I might have less time to play games, but I have no intention of not playing them at all.
Yeah, maybe like, oh, well, maybe I'll be playing fewer games because I won't be trying to fill up all this extra time with going back and replaying some things with it.
But it's just like the moments where people occasionally just binge watch an entire TV show. That might be me going, hey, I got a little bit of time. Let me just play all of Alan Wake in one sitting.
Yeah, and then like 2 days later, oh my God.
Man, what a rush.
Okay, well so mine's very different. Okay, so you remember when Prince of Persia came back?
I do,
in POG form. No, they came back with the Sands of Time.
Yeah, 3D. It was a 3D action platformer.
Yeah.
Right?
So the first game came out in 1989. There was a second Prince of Persia that came out in 1993, and then Prince of Persia 3D came out in 1999. And then 2003 was Sands of Time. I fell in love with this game. Me and Christy played this game so much together. And we really got into we wanted to get into the second one, but it was too combat focused and we just couldn't get into it. But what caught me was the commercial for the game.
Remember commercials?
Do you remember the commercial for this game?
No.
So it was music by one of the members of the Beat Junkies, DJ Melody, and he's really, he's amazing, and he did like the whole commercial. We're gonna listen to the commercial right now.
That is very different.
And that is what we do. So this is from the commercial for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time with some crazy announcer and DJ Melody of the Beat Junkies.
Give me the dagger. No. You have unleashed the sands of time. I can undo what you have done. Give it to me. No. Time control, your greatest weapon. Freeze time. Slow time. Reverse time. See the future. Accelerate time. Control time. Control the world. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Rated T for teen.
T for teen, everybody.
That means it's safe to play.
Yeah, I mean that's cool, right? Like because I remember the commercial being much shorter, and they only played like reverse time, and it was like, wow, this music is awesome. What's going on? And it showed the DJ on the screen, but like must have been like a whole thing they did for like maybe for like a game show, like E3 or something.
Yeah, or that, or he probably composed the track, and then when they told him how long the commercial was, they snipped it around based on where they wanted things to fall.
I like to think that like they told him how they were going to show the game, and then like he kind of like made that track and that routine around the gameplay. Yeah,
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He did that, but then they were like, okay, the segment's only this long, so we're going to snip it here.
Oh, I see. And this is the extended version of what that was.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, Prince of Persia was with this. Sands of Time was just fun, bouncing off of the walls and like rewinding and like stopping things. It was cool. I liked it a lot.
Parkour.
Yeah, it was definitely like it wasn't the hardest game, and it wasn't the most challenging, but it was really enjoyable to get into.
It was all about the experience,
and also a time of my life that was like low responsibility job. You know, just getting out on my own and just getting married too. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So for more information on the bonus round, go to rhythmandpixels.com. It's still there, folks.
in POG form.
And we'll see you. All right, I want to thank you, everybody, for joining us on this episode 37-9 of Rhythm and Pixels, our return to podcasting. After so many weeks and months of sitting in silence.
Hyperbolic time chamber years, even.
Just thinking and storing our power and energy, getting stronger.
Older. Wise.
Definitely not wiser. Definitely older, though. We got the older part down.
Definitely older.
Doing that really good.
And so old.
I read somewhere that when you turn, there's like 2 ages where like you actually accelerate aging.
Ouch.
Where it's like you're aging, and then at this age, it's like a cliff where it's like you just accelerate really fast. One's 44.
Well, look what's approaching for me.
And the other one is like 64, 65.
Yikes.
So I turned 45 in a few months.
Oh, boy.
Hooray. I try not to think about it. Anyway, this has been a fun topic, actually, and a fun couple of episodes. If you haven't, go back and listen to our last episode. It was mainly us chatting and catching up, and we're going to be doing this every month. That's the plan anyway.
And give us your take on it if you want. Let us know what you think of it, how it works.
And you can let us know on our Discord server.
We still have one.
I'm changing the game. I'm not starting with the email. Not starting the website. I'm starting with the Discord.
That is a good way to do it.
But you know how you can find our Discord, Pernell?
On the website.
On the website, that's right. And you know where the website is, Pernell?
Where is the web? Is it www.rhythmandpixels.org? No.
No.
.com.
Weird. Yeah.
.com.
Couldn't get the .org.
Oh.
Yeah. But .gov, though.
We're working on that.
People's Republic of Video Game Music.
We're working on that.
We're working on that one. So it's a good. Our website it has all of our episodes are there. So whatever's not on our podcast RSS feed, you could find there, and all of our extra stuff too, like merchandise. We still sell some cool T-shirts. I have some ideas. I think I have some new ones out there. Check that out. And the Discord server is also where a lot of people hang out and discuss episodes, discuss games, discuss music, and discuss whatever. We have like a thread for baking. We have a channel for what was I gonna say?
Old man brain.
Twitch board games.
Yes,
we still play a lot of board games. So
my home is more board game than man now.
It's cardboard and then brick, right?
Yes, right.
That's right. What else can you do? You can also send us an email
at rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
Send us an email and
at rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
We will likely respond to it, or we will read it on the air. So be careful what you type. We'll put it out there.
That is correct.
Excuse me.
At rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
If you'd like to support the show, you can send us money over email.
At rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
Send me your credit card information, I swear.
God.
No.
I am a prince from a broken African country, and I really would like for you to hold $1 million in my name. Please, just accept my money, and I promise to shower you with riches.
Click here now. I've infected your computer. Click here now.
At rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com. I'll stop.
No, actually, you can support us at patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And then the money there helps to keep our files hosted and, all the equipment working, essentially.
And potentially replace some of the old stuff that's been floating around.
It covers the charges of energy and power usage for the radio station. All that stuff is very, very helpful. It keeps the show going, keeps us going. And at the end of every episode, we like to thank our paid members. So we'd like to first and foremost, Khalid. Khalid out there's in Germany, right? So
I'm not even sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I just like Khalid.
Khalid,
he writes us every once in a while.
Yeah, very, very nice emails. Khalid, we're saluting. We're standing up. We're kind of saluting you. We want to thank you to Corey Clark, GameFan44, Kristen, thank you so much. Antmaster, Brian Pitt, Cameron Worma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito, Musashi219, Chris Weisner.
The wise guy.
Well, thank you to Christopher Senstrom, who I think we'll probably have on the show soon too. A host of the Gameable Audio Pod. I should be plugging everybody here. Carlos, host of the Heroes 3 podcast, podcast about Asian cinema and kung fu movies. Chris Weisner, Musashi219, a host of his Twitch channel, Musashi219.
Yeah, I wonder, dude, can you name a Twitch channel, or is it just you?
It's just I think so. Yeah, it's Musashi219, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering in general if you can name your Twitch stream.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Wait, no, because that's the name of No, you can't. Some people do. Some people name their. I'm sorry, this is terrible. Some people name their Twitch stream I think this is the channel, but then there's hosts on it, and some people it's this is my channel. I'm PewDiePie.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But in this one, that's not his name, clearly. So this is all about...
Hey, not with that attitude. His name, he is Musashi219
No, it's
to
Chris,
me.
This is Chris Weiser's channel, and he just discusses all the news around Musashi219. So anything you want to learn about.
There's a lot to learn.
Christopher Senstrom, host of the Gameable Audio Podcast, a fantastic guy. Davey Cakes, David Good, David Taylor, Enchilada Regol, Harold Howard, Jamie Palmieri Gay... I don't know where that came from.
It's a new person.
We have Triple Jeff, the Try Jeff, Justin Schneider, host of XVGM Radio, Kitty Sparks. Oh, Kitty S.
Yes.
They wrote us.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
It all makes sense now. Martyrus, host of the VGM podcast.
That's correct.
I got it right. Rage Cage, host of the VG Emporium podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Reinhard Selkova. We have Taco, Zach Thornbach, Alexander Proudfoot, Cameron Childs, from the Mad Gear.
You're going down the whole line.
Oh, that's why it seemed like so much. I usually stop. I'm saying everybody's name. I'm feeling pretty good. Surfel, Jessica McDevitt, Joe Vassallo, Jonathan Bycroft, Kevin McKay, Michael P. Duel, Soulless Sanctuary. Thank you very much. Steve Miller, Daryl, The Last Weekend.
That's right.
And Tim Latshaw, The Last Weekend.
The last Shaw.
We have The Last Weekend and Tim The Last Shaw.
That's right.
Thank you all so much, so much for your continued support. It means a whole lot to us.
Doubly so since you stuck with us when we were away.
Down and out, but we are down in the basement still. But we're here.
We're here present.
We're here for you.
We're down and present.
And we are still recording, so good. I always get really nervous when I can't see the recording line go by, and I'm
if it's chopped off or just shut down.
Yeah, crap. We've been talking for 10 minutes and nothing's been happening. We're looking for topics for next month. So please, if you have any suggestions, otherwise we have a Google Doc full of goofy ones we'll probably pick from. So thank you all for listening. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
This has been Rhythm and Pixels. We'll see you next time.
And remember, quitters never win and quitters never prosper. But with that said, if you find yourself in a situation where trying to do something isn't resonating with you because you yourself don't get personal commitment or personal fulfillment, I should say, from attempting the conquest or attempting the goal, there is no shame in just walking away and saying, I am done with this, because that means you get time back to do things you actually want to pursue and things you hope to accomplish. So don't feel like you have to beat your head against a wall for something for nothing but pride. Saying this as somebody who does that in games all the time. Just be able to know that it's okay to look out and say, I'm reclaiming my time and I'm reclaiming my power and going about doing something that actually makes you happy or feel accomplished. And that's the end of that chapter.
And that's the rest of the story.
That was a very short story.
Still good, though.